So now that we have some animation going on of just Electra standing up, and we've kind of moved her keys around to use the end play blocking, just so it's taking a little bit longer, now we can start taking a look at animation layers. And to get to them, I already have one set up here, but if I close this down, it's the same thing that we did for the selection sets, where you can just use this little plus button, new pane type, go to animation, animation layers, and you have it here. And one thing I generally do is I will actually take this and tear off a pane tab copy. So I just have a floating window of this, because now I can just close this all over and have more screen space. I already have my selection set up here, and now I can start taking a look at my animation layers. And by default, there's a few settings on here. So the default layer type is additive, but you can switch it to override if you prefer that. And to use it, it's very, very simple. So since I already have my selection set up, I can do it to help speed up some things here. So if I wanted to just start adding some animation over top of this that I have, I can select the lecture block, and then just by using this, I can create a layer from selected controls. And I can just call this adjust or whatever you want to rename it. You can also color code it if you wanted to, just to be able to spot them easier for what you're doing. You can see it says additive, and I have my weight channel on there. So now with this done, I know that I can pin my Electra block, and now everything I do on this layer, I know I'll be able to key easily. So say I was in here, this area, what we can do is just set a key on there, and if I'm good with her standing up at frame 80, I can set a key there. And what this will do is, you can see here that the values are just zeros. So that means just at zero, like it's just going to be the exact same animation that I have underneath there. So if I wanted to go in here and I wanted to change some of this animation, what I can do is I could just grab a control. I can start adjusting my animation as I need to. Maybe we can have her look over. Maybe just change her pose a little bit, and when I hit gain on there now you can see my channels are going from 0, then it's going into my adjustments and going from there, and it's all additive. And if we want to make sure what's in this channel, we also have in the settings, you can show the layer membership, and in here we'll show you all the controls that are part of that layer.
And I just say this out,
so I'll just take this off, and you can also in your settings decide what you want to show in here. So if you don't want to see the lock column, you can turn that all off, just to minimize things a little bit more. And so now I have my animation. She looks over, and then she goes back to her original spot there. So it's really quickly to be able to, just with a few keys, adjust your animation and change your animation very quickly. And I use animation layers for a bunch of different things. Some of the things I'll use is for facial. If I had facial on here, I may have a layer just for the facial, just to clean up. So I have my body motion, and then I have my facial on a separate layer. Maybe I'll put fingers on there where I have a lot more keys. There's a lot more contacts. Same with feet. Maybe I'll put those all that detail on a separate layer. So from here, and you can just keep on going on. You can duplicate these layers as well. So if you want to duplicate this layer and then try something different. So if I want to go on here with this layer now, what I can do is I can just grab this if I want to make her be a little bit more up. And everything's additive on there. So with the duplicate, it just doubled up my animation a little bit. So we can turn that off, and now we can have something slightly different as well, and you can just mute these as needed, so you can always go back and start changing things and just seeing how it is. And that's the great thing about it, because it's non-destructive. You can go in there and you could try different things really quickly just to see if they're working. So it opens up more playing, more exploration of what your animation will be doing. So I'm just going to mute both of these, and you can lock them too. Once you have something, if you lock it, then you won't be able to change that layer anymore. Just make sure that you don't make a mistake on being on the layer that you don't want to be on. So if we go back here, we can take a look at a few more things, and one of them will be our new mirror tool.
What we need to do.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to grab Electra, her setup here. I'm going to use the Alt Drag method to copy everything. Let it go. I'm going to change the name to Metal. And what I'm going to do is in Electra here, I'm going to go into our parameters. I'm going to change it to be metallic.
or twice.
And again, all we have to do,
So
if I
we
wanted
want
to
to
add it
extract
in
from a
here,
folder.
I can just
We're
bring
gonna
it
grab
over
from
here,
our
and
knight character
we can
base rig.
now
Go
just
here.
go this one
We
in
see
here, this
that this is
one
our
in
rig,
here,
this is our apex
and
rig,
now we have a metal
points.
Electra added to our shop.
When I open up my
So we also have
spreadsheet, let's see what
the ability to copy and paste controls to
Um,
one another.
so yeah. this is
So
our
I'm
apex
just going to
rig,
select
this is
Electra,
our
put a
apex
key at
points.
1 since I shifted all that
So
stuff before.
When you throw down
And
one of these control
what I'm going to do
extractions
now
has
is
this
just
little
copy and
expression
paste
here.
some animation. So I could
Sometimes
select
call that
all of
what that's
Electra
doing
here,
is it's grabbing
and I can either do it. You
everything
can see
that
we have a new
exists in here,
character, new
All
controls in
the
here called
FK,
Metal.
IK,
But I can select Electra if I want to
which is
drag it or
is
select it from
usually
here.
the route.
I can use
But we're gonna do
Control
this
C,
piece by piece.
or if you right click on it, you can
Okay.
see copy selection. And then
So,
I can select the Metal
first thing we
Electra
need to do
and
is
Control V.
throw down
Or you could paste the World Transforms on there, and now you can see I have her
So with our rig,
posed in there. So if I turn off the other Electra,
um,
now
this
we
is
just
gonna
have the
be,
metal Electra sitting in the chair.
little-
So it's really quickly and
this little bit
being
different
able to do
because,
it. And it's only
this
for a pose, of
animation
course. So if we take a look at this,
comes in
it
this.
will only be with
So, well, actually, you know
Electra's
what? I'm doing it
controls
geometry.
in here for the one pose. It's not copying the animation across there.
Pull
Now the other thing that we can
now
do
the issue
here
we're gonna run
is let's just do the same thing. We're just going to copy. We're going to put another chair in here.
Now,
And so I could do the same thing here where I just
this is,
have all the chair here. I'm going to use Control C, Control V to paste it this time. I'm going to hook up the orange to the orange and insert this in here.
So that would
And
be
now we have
what
another
happens
chair
when
that's
you,
been put in there
try to match
that
up
we want.
those as best
And
as
so
you can.
if I take a look at this chair,
But we don't
I
need
can
to do
go in
that
here
because along
and I can
with
select this, Control C,
FBX,
do this one,
also
Control
have
V.
rest
Now we have that
right?
chair
so we're going to use
added
rest
in
points.
there. Sorry, I had a pin on there, so that's
name is, let's
what
go
was going
in.
there. So if we go
rest.
here
The way
and
we're going
I
to
select my
extract
curves,
this rest pose
Control
is
C,
by using a rig
select this
stack.
Control,
So we're
Control
gonna
V.
go,
Now we have our
this is the
extra
skeleton we
chair
want.
there that we want. So I'm just going to turn off the original
Now, if I
Electra in
put
the
this
chair
here,
and then have the metal Electra in chair
right, I
1
need
here.
to,
And what I
reset
could do
this.
is just select
So
these
let's go
in here.
to factory
And if I
defaults,
right click on it,
and there we
what
go.
I could do is you can see
Now
we have a
we
mirror
have
with plane or
our
Shift M.
Put these this way.
So
we
I
have
could
our
do this,
rest
and now we have a
going
mirror
here to the pulse source,
for those two
The animated skeleton
for the
going
chair
down
and
to
Electra.
the skeleton.
And if I
So
open up
this
Control G
rig
in
match
here,
place,
we
okay.
can see we have some mirror settings on
So-
this. So if I was to rotate
Now
this around,
We need to throw down.
you can see that the Electra's head's a little bit backwards, but if we just switch it to X, flip axis to X, now we can have that in there.
So
And if we
move,
wanted to, we
the
can
target
take the
out a
chair
bit.
and rotate that around and move it out here as well. Nothing happens. We can see just the outline of
And
what's
so
going
we
on
have
there,
all these,
but nothing's actually going to be happening
controls in here
until
for our
we
apex
hit
rig, right? So
enter.
this is our apex rig.
And now
this
we
is
have
the
that
base
Electra
skeleton.
in the chair posed there,
And
and
if
we
you
have
see
our
some
other
information
Electra
we're
here.
targeting
We have the one that's just
tutorials
because we
on
just
this exact same
copied that
procedure.
one
The
pose
only
in there.
difference is
So we just have the animation on there. So it's a quick way to start mirroring
choose
and
which
being able to
controls we
rotate and
want to
reposition
extract.
things if you want.
And
I don't use
like doing this bit by
mirrors,
bit instead of
mirroring
just
too
using
much.
everything. It's just a
So
little easier.
yeah, it would be
So,
great for people that do
think the
use
easiest way
mirroring
I
in their
found
workflow
to
to
do
be
this
testing it out and letting us know how it's all going if
is
we're
to
missing
put
any
down an
features that
auto
could
rig
be in there.
component, right? So we can see our rig.
So
I'm not gonna use the
from
same
there,
one
we're going to move on and start taking a look at a few,
We're gonna go,
just some rough animation of Electra reaching down, picking up the ball, and throwing it.
So then we're gonna get the actual
And so if I
IKs from
select
the
Electra,
foot.
you can see it's still just, every 5 frames generally,
There's
a few
actually-
more
there's two
where I
IKs
need
on
it,
here.
but just roughing
Hover
in
over, we're gonna
some
see that
animation.
there's a
Now, what I
target
would probably
on
do
IK
if I was animating this is I would have
So what I
animated the
want
ball
is
at the
the
same
L
time
frame,
using
right? That's
our
the actual
Control Shift. And I've made a selection set here, which is just the
Just
right
setting
hand
this
and the
rig
ball.
that IK
So just a couple
target
things
is
just
also
to make it
exposed,
nice and easy
but
for
that's
me
being created by
to
the
animate with
so we don't want that.
just a few things on there.
So
And so, like I said, what I'd probably
have
have
these.
done
Let's just start with
is,
the
as I
build
was
menu, right,
animating
and
this,
see
I
what
would have
we
just used the global transform, Control Shift,
so all we
and
do is just
being
grab
able to use it so I can
left
move
hand, put it there,
the ball with the hand,
there.
selecting
gonna look
whatever
I'm just
pivot I want. I can use the ball as
It's
the
gonna go
pivot instead of the hand,
into
and be able to animate
table,
it
right?
all
Because that's
through
the one we have.
that way without needing a constraint in there. However,
put this into
in this
full body
case,
eye
say the ball came later, the asset,
step
and
is
now I
we
want to
want
put that ball in the hand.
a scene.
So what we can take a look at right now is our, if
And
I
this is
use
when it gets a
Control
little
G, our animation settings, and we have something called transient constraints here. And this will allow us to be able to constrain that ball to the hand
So we
without
have
needing
to,
to essentially manage
put down a scene,
constraints,
we'll
but
pass
just
our
to be able
scene
to
into
move
it.
this ball
And
to
just make
its
sure that
proper
we're
spot.
outputting all the
And what I've done here
effects.
is I've just taken the keys of
Wanna
my
take
hand
this,
and I've just set the
what is
keys
this? This is
onto the
the
ball in the
control
exact same
constraint.
spot, but it's not
Plug
moving.
this into the
And
control output
I did
panel.
that because we have a couple of different ways
Plug that
of
here.
using the constraint.
Control skeleton.
One is dense, which will give me a key on every single frame.
And then this is going to go.
But I don't want that because I'm still just roughing out my animation.
It's output.
So I'm going to use update.
character
And what
shape.
this will do is just take
And
the
the
keys that I
animation
have
target.
on the ball already and just
on
update them
base
to the new spot. So
Okay, cool.
let's take a look at how we
Our
use
character's moving around,
the
obviously,
transient
we do that.
constraints. So if I wanted to,
But
if we have it picking up, she's picking up
made
the
that
ball,
change
say at
from
frame
connected
25,
A to B.
and then
Let's
she's throwing
click
it
on,
and she's going to release it at frame
animate.
60. And you can see we have the animation for the hand here. So all I need to do is I need to select the driven first,
right, yeah,
which
there's
is the
a few more
ball,
steps in order
and
to
then
do
the
that.
driver, which is the hand.
We actually have that
And then
ball
in
range. So
here,
why don't we set that up
I can use
first,
shift and
then we'll go
drag
in
to
and
get
find
the frame range that I
So
want
if we
that
wanna
to be
actually
constrained
add
in there.
the
And the thing that we want to do actually before is go to the frame where it's good, where the contact is that we want, and then
And what
grab
is-
that range in there. And now when I hit A,
I have some
you can
notes
see
here.
we have a
Because it's a-
visualizer
it's like
just
I
to
haven't
help
got
you
the
out, just to make
process
sure
down.
you did it in the correct order. So you can see it's going from the hand to the ball. So the hand is going to be driving the
Primitives
ball.
for motion clip.
I'm going to take
And
this,
this needs
turn
to
this
go
off,
into
just so we
second step, not the first.
don't have that anymore. Oh, actually, I'll leave it on for 1 second because what you'll see here is there's no visualizer on there
Second
until
input.
the constraint
Here.
happens. And you can see now it's all moving, and it's a blue constraint visualizer. And you can see it's created a blue bookmark for us
Choose the actual
to show us that range that that ball is going in there. And then you can see it just stops
There we go.
from there. So you can see
So
when it's
our
not constrained,
effects
there's
rig is
no
now
visualizer. When
being
it's
driven
constrained, the
by
visualizer's
this
on.
animation.
But we're going to
We
take
can
this
go
off
ahead and
because
get
now I
started.
know that I have that all set up
And all
properly.
sorts of
And
processes and stuff. And if
right
I
away,
click on
we've been able to get something really quickly in there.
controls, you
And
see that
if
all
I deselect everything
which is
in here,
super duper.
if I take this, you can see that it's moving, it's all
This looks
constrained.
terrible, so let's
If I go outside of it and move this hand, you can see it's not constrained. So this is a nice little visualizer to see where that constraint is happening in there.
Pin this.
And now that I have that done, I don't have to manage constraints anymore. I could just take that off because it's moved my keys up to where they need to be. So now I could just have that going through and going and translating with it. Now because it's rough and I've just kind of put it in with just
we're
for
gonna jump
sparse
to
keys, you
match
can see there's
points.
like ranges in here where it's not going the hand is going through. And this is where you'd want to use dense
And then we
to
have
lock it in.
our,
But again,
cog
because
and
I'm in
control.
blocking, I don't want to get to that point. If I really wanted to get something in there, what I can do is just select these two, the two objects. I'm just going to set a key in there. So now the ball will have a spot to be updated
Looking a
in.
little bit better.
And if I go back to the original frame and I click auto update follow ranges on, now when I hit A, when I go to that frame, you can see now it's locked in. The hand is no longer intersecting through the ball like it was. So really quickly, we've been able to get that in there, and it's just keys again on the ball. So when we look at it, we just have nice curves. We don't have any offsets or anything that we have to deal with
And,
constraints.
again, one thing we
It's
can
just
do,
put those keys on that control
is
into the
we
correct
can
spot.
Take this FBX
And now if I wanted to continue with this throw, I could just go from here, just because it's curves,
side.
and say I wanted to throw it down here. We can just move it, set a key, and now we have it going in here. If I wanted to, I could set another key and put it on here. Now, if I wanted to see this motion, what we can do is take a look at our motion path. And with that object selected, I can select bind. And now we can see that motion path, and you have a few different options. You can limit the number of frames before and after. So if I want to see the whole thing, I could see it here. I could turn it on. We could play around with the path width and the size. And we still have more options that we're going to be working and features that we're going to be working on this for future Houdini releases. But it's really great just to be able to see our arcs and our spacing going on in there. So if we were here and we wanted to adjust it, we can just do it, and we can see it as it's moving here. If we want to take this one this key
Okay,
here,
so
we don't
we have
actually have to be
efficient
on that
pull
frame.
vectors.
We can start moving around. You can see how the spacing's getting all changed from there. So really quickly, and if you want to, you can just select on this and just unbind it and do it.
So
And you can
let's
select
grab
it on the
all
hand. You can bind it on there and see how the hand arc is working as well if you want to work on that.
Alright.
So from here,
Pull vectors.
the one thing
And
that we
in
can take a
order
look
to
at
fix this
is
kinda weird,
instead of
movement
me
issue,
hand keying this and trying to get the
Um,
spacing and everything working
there's a
out,
couple of
what we
things
can
that
do
we
is
can
take a
do.
look at one of our tools called
what's great
Dynamic
about this
Motion.
is if
And
I
we'll
put
take a
on
look
a
at that
rig
next. And that'll help us save us time
right
from
here
doing some
before we
animation
plug
that
this into our control update parameters.
can be a little bit
actually
tricky
go
to
in
get right.
and
Just make sure the
grab
spacing
these
and
joints
we
and
can
move them
start
around.
speeding that up, get us much
And
better
what's
motion
really
in
cool
a
about this
fraction of
is
the
that
time than us
we're
hand keying
we're
it.
actually
And
still
we'll